In this video, I'm going to show you what I did to replace a submersible effluent pump that was about 25 years old. It started to hum, and I could hear it inside the house, and then it would stop, and I didn't know what the sound was, but I finally determined it was this. It would do that for a few minutes, and then it would stop because it's thermally protected. So basically the pump would heat up and turn off. I found out the pump was no good, and I replaced it with this pump. So I bought a new pump and I put it in. I had to get some parts. So this video shows you all the details associated with getting this project done. And I tested at the end. So that's the gist of it. So the rest of this video is just the details, and you could probably go on with your life without worrying about missing anything. But if you stuck around, I show myself digging in my files and looking through the stuff, trying to figure out how old it was. I think it was installed in 2000 or 99. The revision on this thing is 98. So it says if the motor fails, just replace the pump. And I think that's probably what I'll be doing. But I didn't know if there might be something preventing the thing from spinning. So the first thing I did was use a little pump that I happen to have laying around to empty the contents of the sump. And now I've got to take out 3 bolts or screws that are in there. Not that big of a deal. Pretty straightforward. Just pull these out there. They weren't too rusted or anything like that. This vessel has a flange on it, so those you can reach the underside of those underneath the vessel. And these were some improvised ones because apparently I had taken this apart. Oh, I know. I took it apart and replaced the float valve some number of years ago because it quit working. So then it was a problem of lifting up this steel plate that covers the top and sliding it up on the two. One of them's a vent, and so I had to get that jostled into place. And once I got that up and out of the way, then you can see the pump down there in the bottom. Scratch and sniff. It really doesn't smell too bad, actually, when you get right down to it. It smelled more like musty than sewer. But anyway, I got to decide what to do about how to get it out. And I do have another 2-inch chunk of Schedule 40 PVC. It's nice to have the Schedule 40 for this one. But I thought I'd look for fittings to see if I actually had purchased some other fittings that would fit that 2-inch, but I didn't have anything. They were all small, so I'm going to have to buy that. So now I'm going to think about how to get the pump out of there. I could cut it out, which would be easy and quick, but then I'd have to buy fittings that I don't have. And I think maybe what I'll do is, I was thinking maybe I would just try to turn the pump because it's a threaded connector down at the bottom of that 2-inch PVC. So I was just having my break, and I looked in my tea leaves and it said cut. So I decided I would go ahead and cut, and I'll get out my saw here. And making a rookie mistake here, I'm cutting on the wrong side of that connector. And that connector there, like I said, it's there because I had to cut this out before to put the new float valve in. But still 24 years or something out of this pump if it turns out. And I know now that the pump is no good because I'm narrating this after I've already done the diagnostic work. But we'll see that diagnostic work shortly. And here I'm correcting my mistake, cutting that connector off. So now I'm lifting the steel plate up so that I can get the whole thing disengaged. Which kind of a had to kind of wrestle this thing to get it up, get it out of these. It's going through these bushings, which are kind of tight, and there's some debris on the outside of the pipe that's preventing it from slipping out easily. But there it finally goes, and I'm going to get this completely free and take it outside and take a look at it and see what's going on. Do a bit of diagnostics with it. There we go. And then just lift it out. There's two wires in there because one of them is the switch and one of them is the power. So I rinsed it off a little bit, then took a look in there, and the thing was spinning freely. And see, now, if there was a piece of something in there that was, stopping it from spinning freely, I might have been able to just remove that, and the pump would have been okay. But when I plug it in, it makes a hum, and then only then, after a little while, does it start spinning. So something's wrong. There's no replaceable parts. There's no capacitor to replace or anything like that. So it just doesn't have the oomph to kick over, and it is spinning freely. So I'm just going to have to replace the pump. So now it's time to replace. So now I thought, let's see what the specs are. But luckily they must have given me another sticker to put on the outside. And so it says it's a 0.4 of a horsepower. So I opened up Amazon and I typed in just the same model number. And of course, Amazon always gives you other stuff. It never just gives you what you ask for. But it looks like this one here is similar. It's a 0.5 horsepower, so it's similar. And the output, I don't know if I show it in this, but anyway, yeah, there it is. The output is 1.5 NPT pipe thread. And I looked on Home Depot, and they didn't have the same brand. And maybe this Everbuilt would have been fine, but they weren't that much cheaper. I went on Lowe's and searched there too, and clicked into these submersible pumps like this, and scroll down and see that they have some more expensive ones and similar priced ones, and I just thought, I'll just stick with that one I found on Amazon. And then I'm gonna need another coupler, and that one right there for $2.11. That's the one that ends up in my basket. I need just one of these. I was thinking about getting a Union, but I didn't want to get a Union because they're kind of expensive. So I just got one of these rubber connectors, and that'll be fine. It was a little cheaper at Home Depot, but the convenience of just having everything delivered at one time is better, I think, for me. So $6 versus $8, it's not a big deal. So I've got both of those in my cart, and I'm going to go back in history and grab that pump. Yeah, here it is, and just add that to the cart. And I don't want to buy any kind of a protection. So there are the things that I'm expecting to get from Amazon, and when I get those, I will start shooting again, and be a few days. Then I thought of, oops, wait a minute, this is 2.3-ish, and if you look at this NPT chart here, you can see that it's 1.79. So I need to buy a an adapter, I think. So I'm going to have to add something to my cart or add something to my Amazon order, because I'm pretty sure that what I've got is the wrong size. We'll see. So let me buy a couple of more parts here. One of them is this $5.80 thing that has a threaded, at least I think that's the one. Let's see. Oh no, that's not it. Here it is. $4.71 thing. It's got the 1.5" threaded and a slip connector. And then I need to size down from 1.5" down to the 2". So I'm going to need to buy a reducer or a slip thing that I can glue in place, like this one, $3.32. So with these other two things, hopefully that will be sufficient to get me. So I ordered all those parts, and with any plumbing job, you always wonder if you got the right parts. But I got my pump, and it looks like it's got this smaller small outlet compared to my old pump. So I'm going to take this off of my old pump. I think that's a 2" NPT, and when I compare it, we can see it's not the right size. But I kind of expected that, because I didn't notice that the discharge was 1.5" NPT. So hopefully I've got the right parts here. You always got to hope in a plumbing job. This looks good. This is a slip fitting, PVC slip fitting, so that's going to fit in the pump just fine. That should be good. And then this is a bushing. So this should I'm going to need a chunk of 1.5" pipe to connect these two, and then this thing will connect the two cut off 2" PVCs. So that should be good. I need one more piece here, and this is the coupling. So to connect this thing, the bushing coupling to then the it all just fits together, glues together. So I made a little model just so I knew how long to cut this extra piece of 1.5". And so those two red things have to connect, and that blue thing is the existing 2" pipe that I have. That's all to the correct scale, measured the length. And so I just put a stick in the model that's 8 3/8 inches long. So I need something at least that long, and it can be longer. I just didn't want to cut it too short. So I'm going to cut this off. Again, this is the end of the existing long 2", and this is a short piece of 1.5", which I'm not even going to measure. As long as that's a little bit longer than the minimum, I'm going to be fine. I'm going to have to cut the 2" off. So here's the cleaning fluid, putting it on both sides of the little thing. I'm going to glue this whole thing up right now, except for I'm not going to glue the long one on, because I thought that would be unwieldy. But I'm going to glue this whole assembly up. So again, cleaning fluid on this slip fitting, and then this bushing, and also on the outside of this bushing, because I'm going to glue this into this coupling. So glue the whole thing up except for the last piece where I glue in the long 2" pipe. So, but this bushing is going to go in this side. Here's the glue. And I kind of glue on this side and glue on this threaded fitting. This is the side that screws into the pump. You got to hold it for a second in PVC, otherwise sometimes it'll slip out. And I left this one in here just to show you that if you're wondering about gluing up PVC, this is the process. It's not a big deal. It's pretty straightforward. But you do have to worry about it slipping out if you don't hold it. So I got this last bushing to add, and it's all glued up, so ready to go. Now, of course, if you make a mistake here, you're done. You buy new parts. You cut them apart, buy new parts. So anyway, I got this thing ready to go. That goes into the pump right there, and the other end gets glued to the long 2-inch pipe. And of course, we've tried this before, and that fits, and it fits. I snugged it up. It goes all the way, bottoms out. It doesn't have to be that tight, really. These don't even have to be Schedule 40, except for I like to have the thick pipe because you're working it with it in open spaces, and it doesn't flex as much as the thinner stuff, the DW, whatever, drain, vent, whatever. I forgot. Anyway. So anyway, that 2-inch was a little bit too long, and now I held it up there and held it down here, and it looks like once that goes into that fitting, that will be fine. So I'm going to clean this. I took a long time to clean this because there was cement and a bunch of other junk on it. But I cut that out because there's no need to watch me do that. And I put the glue on the pipe and also glue on the fitting, and then I just got the pipe and pushed it right into the fitting. So that worked as you can see. So now we're all glued up, and we're ready to seal it up. So I had a little problem here. First of all, this thing is kind of unwieldy, and my vent is kind of falling apart on the ceiling area, or above my head there. But I took the bushing off of the main. I took the vent out right there, but I've got the bushing off, and I thought, I'll just get this in here nice, and then I'll push the bushing down and snap it into place. So I thought, okay, let me get this electrical cords through their bushing, and I did that, and I thought, I'm getting real close to being done now, and I came down with this bushing, and no matter how hard I tried to press it into that plate, it just would not go from that side. So I'm like, got to take it all apart again. So, but I kept on wrangling, trying in different angles and pushing and twisting, and nothing would work. So I finally had to come up with a new plan, but just pushing that down, it did not work. So I had to take off both this, that was just resting on there. Anyway, the rubber coupling and then the bushing, and I'm going to take the whole thing apart and get the bushing in the plate first. So here, remove the plate even, and then get the bushing back in the plate, and then put the pipe through. Or again, what I thought would be another easy thing turned out to be not so easy. So I took the plate with the bushing, and I tried to put the pipe through. And I struggled with this a lot longer than I'm showing here in this video, and finally I gave up with that. So then I took a small chunk of 2-inch, and I pushed it through, and it was like, okay, well, that goes. It goes from one side, it just will not go from the other side. So I had this idea that I would just tape the two pipes together. So the little chunk of 2-inch plus the long 2-inch, and I got a piece of plastic tape there that I'm going to try to wrap around while holding it. It's kind of not an easy thing to balance, but I got the tape kind of crinkly, but it was holding the two pipes together, and I thought, well, let's see if this works. I was a little concerned, but it worked. So now I've got the thing on there at least, and I can slide it down all the way down there, and then the vent pipe goes in the right way. So there it is. Finally got the bushing in the 2-inch. And then I just took a little blade there and cut the tape and pulled that extra piece off and stuck the coupling, rubber coupling back on, and put these two together and tightened down the worm clamps on the rubber coupling, which is not a big deal. So I've got everything except for this, which I opened up before because I pumped it out before. But I got that in there and tightened, and I'm getting pretty close to being able to test it. So everything's in place. All the plugs are in place. All the bushings are in place. Let's plug it in. And depending upon the water level, this may or may not come on. And it doesn't. So the water level in there is too low. So I'm going to turn on the water and then go back out. And we will sit here and listen. And you will hear the pump come on. So there you have it. The pump is operational. It doesn't look like I have any leaks here. And I don't expect leaks up there. So that's it. Thanks for staying tuned in. And hopefully that this will give you some courage to attack your project.